Good morning. This is KELOLAND On The Go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your Sunday. We also have your Boredom Busters coming up, but first our top story. Sioux Falls police are investigating an assault that sent a victim to the hospital. Officers responded to the 800 block of East 8th Street last night, where they found a male suffering from a head injury. At this point, we do not know his condition. Police blocked off several intersections in the area while they worked the scene. We expect an update on their investigation during Monday morning's police briefing, which we will carry live here on KELOLAND.com beginning at 10:30. Authorities have arrested a woman on charges of child endangerment at a daycare in Inwood, Iowa. The Lyon County Sheriff's Office says they launched an investigation Friday at the Kingdom Kids Daycare following reports of abusive behavior by Elizabeth Cainrath. The Sheriff's Office says they identified 14 separate incidents in which Cainrath acted in an aggressive and inappropriate manner with 5 children. Cainrath is being held on a $31,000 bond. The Sheriff's Office is crediting the daycare for prompt reporting and working with parents and law enforcement during the course of the investigation. Authorities have arrested 2 Rapid City men following a weekend standoff at a horse barn in the southern Black Hills. It started Saturday morning when witnesses reported 2 men burglarizing storage units south of Custer. Custer County's search and rescue used a drone to locate the men holed up in a barn south of Pringle. Law enforcement believe the 2 were armed with weapons stolen from one of the storage units. Authorities say they tried for hours to talk the men into coming out, but there was no response. Then the special response team from Rapid City arrived with their armored Bearcat vehicle, and the suspects surrendered. Charges are pending against 50-year-old Jonathan Shamley and 47-year-old Gabriel Garcia. Investigators say both men have lengthy criminal records in Pennington and Meade counties. Let's take our first look at the forecast now with meteorologist Adam Rutt in the Storm Center. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, Perry, and good morning, everybody. It is a quiet start to your Sunday out there with a bit of cloud cover at times, but when that's the only bad thing about the day, at least at first, we're doing pretty well for ourselves. We're at 32 with a view from our camera at Falls Park. Southwest wind at 3 miles per hour. You're going to see some of those high-level clouds on occasion as we go through a majority of KELOLAND, as we just have a small little disturbance that's trying to make its presence known, but really not much else going on beyond that. Meanwhile, we head on up to the north, where we have a beautiful sunrise on our hands in Aberdeen, 36 with a west wind at 10 miles per hour. Also in Pierre, 33 with a view of the Capitol, front and center. West wind at 10 miles per hour. But out west, it's trying to keep up with the pace, 37 with a view from our camera in Rapid City. A light westerly breeze at 3 miles per hour. Many of our locations this morning in the 30s, though we do have a few exceptions. Sisseton and Spearfish on the warmer side at 41 and 46 respectively. And a couple of 20s out there. Valentine and Yankton at 29 and 28 apiece. Everybody else, though, again, this is a mild start to the day, considering our average low is closer to the low to at times mid-20s. The wind isn't going to be a huge deal today. It's going to be a little brisk at times. Right now, 5 to 15 miles per hour, predominantly out of the west. But as we head toward Monday, we do have some windy weather to talk about for some. And by the end of the week, it gets a little messy. We'll talk about all of that coming up in your extended forecast.
All right, thank you very much, Adam. People packed the South Dakota Military Heritage Alliance in Sioux Falls last night to show their support for an Air National Guard member who's battling cancer. Chris Tiesenwitz has served more than 20 years in the Air Guard, but in 2022 he was diagnosed with bone cancer. Last night his friends hosted a benefit for him, his family, and the road that lies ahead of them.
There was a few of them that finally just would not take no for an answer. And whether I liked it or not, they went ahead with it, and I can't be more thankful for those individuals that did that.
The benefit included silent auctions along with live music and a taco bar. The Summit League basketball tournament, which wraps up today, draws thousands of fans to Sioux Falls and generates millions of dollars every year. An estimated 65,000 fans are expected to fill the stands during the 5 days of games. Their presence is easy to spot, not just physically, but economically as well.
The direct spending from those 65,000 fans here just in our community, conservatively, is $5 million. So that includes retailers, restaurants, hotels, attractions, and even gas stations that those fans are spending their money in here locally with us.
The The Sioux Falls Sports Authority says the overall economic impact from the tournament extends far beyond the cash register. We'll show you how local businesses profit from the Summit League spending in tonight's Eye on KELOLAND at 10. Summit League action starts at 3 p.m. at the Denny Sanford Premier Center with the women's title game featuring SDSU against Oral Roberts. That's followed by the men's championship at 8 p.m. pitting Omaha against St. Thomas. The Watertown Home Show features more than 10,000 square feet of exhibits and prize giveaways. It's taking place at the Cottington County Extension Complex and include the kids areas. The hours are 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Admission is $5 and free for ages under 18. It's still skiing and snowboarding season at Terry Peak. The Black Hills ski team is hosting races beginning at 9 a.m. Mountain Time with a giant slalom. Terry Peak is open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Movies playing at the Historic State Theater in downtown Sioux Falls include Grumpy Old Men, Raging Bull, and Madagascar. Adam?
Oh, I mentioned we don't have a whole lot going on today, but that changes as we go into the day tomorrow. The wind starts to pick up more and more. We have a high wind watch in place along and north of Highway 12, and also for areas near and then north and west of the Cheyenne River Valley into northwestern portions of South Dakota, where we could see gusts approaching and exceeding 50 to 60 miles per hour. On top of that, we do still have some pretty dry air and dry vegetation in place, so red flag warnings come back into the picture again along that Highway 12 corridor, but also extending toward 212, eventually down toward Pierre, and then areas west of Chamberlain along I-90 headed into Jones County toward Murdo. Please be careful with any outdoor heat sources considering how dry and windy it is going to be. It is not going to take much for a grass fire to start or spread quickly and easily. Today, we really don't have a whole lot of anything going on with just some cloud cover in place. So we'll call it a mix of sun and clouds at first before we get a little more sunshine to build in going into the afternoon as well as the evening. In fact, really much of this extended forecast through Thursday is pretty quiet. That includes a frontal passage on Monday. We get a cold front to sweep through, but it's going to be a blink and you'll miss it sort of situation as it moves through with little to no fanfare other than a brief cool down on Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, we'll fast forward through, but then things start to unravel as we head toward Friday into Saturday. We get a deepening area of low pressure that's going to start things off as mainly rain. Even a couple of thunderstorms not out of the question out of this, especially to the south and east. But then, on the western edge of low pressure, we get cold air to wrap around. We can see a switch over to snow with that cold air crashing in on the backside of this low. The question, among others, will be this: when and if do we see that? That hinges on the evolution of this low and arguably more importantly, the track of this area of low pressure. Late season systems like this can be notoriously tricky to pin down. And so you're going to see things change over the next couple of days as we get a better grasp on exactly what this low is going to do. But just know that we do have some impactful weather that we're keeping an eye on for the Friday, Saturday time frame. Details are subject to change, but just keep an eye out for updates. All the while, again, we stay pretty warm as we go through much of this work and school week, but then the colder air comes in Saturday into Sunday. But nothing too absurd. We're going to be talking about highs maybe back in the 30s by then. Odds for near to slightly below average temperatures are favored then as we go into late March. But keep in mind, average by this point is going to be in the mid to at times upper 40s. Today, we are going to be well above average with highs in the 60s to near 70 under what will be a good amount of sunshine overall. Tonight, lows in the low to mid 30s under partly to mostly clear skies, but then a windy day on our hands tomorrow, especially again up in northern South Dakota where we have that high wind watch and red flag warning in place for both. Here's your 7-day forecast. We'll have a brief cool down on Tuesday, the 49, before we get back into the 60s to near 70 through Friday. But then there's that Friday, Saturday time frame. Rain at first, maybe switching over with some snow later Saturday. But again, that is subject to change depending on how that low tracks. For Aberdeen, we'll stay quiet through Thursday. A breezy day on Monday with the high wind watch and red flag warning in place. We get up to 70 though for the day on Monday, 66 today, and again on on Thursday, rain Friday, maybe mixing with snow later Saturday as temperatures crash. In Pierce, 70 today, 72 tomorrow, a brief cool down Tuesday, back to 72 by Thursday, all the while you stay dry, but then you have your rain on the way for Friday, maybe even switching over to snow, depending on the evolution of that low on Saturday. And for Rapid City, either side of 70 through at least Monday, a very small cool down on Tuesday, only in air quotes to 57. Back up into the 60s Wednesday and Thursday, and then the Friday, Saturday outlook comes in where things get a little messy. Have a great day, everybody. For more on your local news, weather, and sports, you can always head on over to KELOLAND.com.